I love my husband, but I don't trust my husband. And he knows that. Every man is one stupid mistake away from exploding his whole life.
How many of you have had to remind your boyfriend multiple times to do a task that he should absolutely be handling on his own? You are managing his responsibilities, his schedule, his emotions, his chores, all things he should be doing for himself as a grown adult, rather than to trust him to handle something because you know there's a good chance that he's going to f it up. You just do it.
Part of what she's saying also means allowing men to fail and allowing them to feel the consequences of that failure. He doesn't remember his mom's birthday? Too bad, that's on nobody but him. He forgot to move his clothes over from the washer to the dryer? Sorry. Because what happens as women is when you start doing these things, they very quickly become expected of you to be done, and they very quickly become your lifelong job for the duration of that relationship. And I know what you're thinking because I've said this many, many times before, and I get the same responses. Well, that's just petty. I love my boyfriend. I love my husband. I want to do things to make his life easier. It is not the same thing because chances are he is not doing the same things for you. He's not reminding you of important dates. He's not carrying that mental and relational labor on the same level as you. Unless you want to be the one owning these things for the duration of this relationship, do not start doing them now. Simply start out as you mean to go on. Because it's fine when it's just the two of you, right? That's manageable. You can handle that. But what happens when you take the next step, when you get married and you have a child? Guess what? All the things that you were doing just for him, you're still expected to do just for him, as well as for you and as well as for another human being. Stop trying to make men's lives easier. If you treat them like they are incompetent and incapable, guess what? They will become incompetent and incapable.
Let's have a look at the comment section. 25 years and I'm done. Can't wait to see how he takes care of his house once I'm gone. So you remember to get your oil changed every 3,000 miles. You remember to register your car every couple years or having it inspected. How can I victimize myself today? This is a man asking. Someone else replied, how can I be a pathetic man baby who can't get anything done without a woman telling me? Mine ended up with the most extreme situation possible. He quit his job. I picked up the slack. He got fired from the next job. I picked up the slack. After several years of distance, I had worked myself into a corporate management position and was primary financial provider. That's when I left. He didn't have anything I wanted. Why remind him? Let him forget just once. He won't make the same mistake after facing the consequences. They become incompetent and then resent you for telling them what they should be doing. I feel like if I have to be asked multiple times to do something because I forgot, he should also get the same leeway. People are humans, yes. Men do have weaponized incompetence, but we also shouldn't expect them to be absolutely perfect. I think after like the second time, unless there's a reason, then maybe they should be doing it. Someone replied saying, I have never had to be reminded of anything concerning myself, my adulthood, my household, nor my family, because I am an adult who has to be responsible. There is no backup. There is no one to help. Why are women the only ones who have that plate that is overflowing? And why would men get a pass or an excuse for not doing and thinking the same way? This is a good question. Why should you be in a relationship with a man you don't trust? This is a common question. This question is logical, isn't it? But I tell you, men change, people change. And should you continue to be in a relationship the moment you realize that the person you trusted is not truly who the person is? The moment the person breaks the trust you have for them, should you continue being in that relationship or should you start thinking of using the door? Let me know what you think about this in the comment section. And then let's talk about the women talking about reminding men or give them a leeway, or we have to at least remind them twice. Why would you want to be in a relationship with an adult that expects you to baby them? Are they telling me or telling us that men don't have brains to think for themselves and get things done? How was that man coping when you were not in his life? Women are part of the reason a lot of men are weaponizing incompetence. Growing up in an African setting, women are expected to be the ones cooking, cleaning, and you would often hear some mothers saying, oh, he's a boy, he doesn't know how to do that. Oh, he's a boy, go play, go watch game, go play video game. Oh, he's a boy, well, how do you expect him to know how to cook. You're obviously saying it's okay for him to choose and pick what he should be good at, what he wants to do, and what he doesn't want to do. We all know how tedious it is to do the dishes, to cook, to clean up, to mop the house. Not everyone enjoys doing that. That is a task. The way women don't like it, some women don't like it, is still the same way some men might not like it. So why are you making it look like it's a woman's job and men have the option of wanting to do it or not? I tell you, this whole pattern comes from the mothers that trained those men. When you make a little boy believe that some tasks are not for them, some are for women, some are for men, some tasks are gendered, what then do you expect such boys to do when they grow up as men, when they become men? If you have any man in your life making excuses, acting like he's dumb, expecting you to remind him of basic things that even children will do without anyone reminding them, you're in a big problem, honestly. That man is your biggest problem, because that man is going to drain you. He will expect you to pick up after him, to do things for him. And whenever you try to get him to do things, he will intentionally frustrate you by letting you know that he's incompetent. It's either when you explain to him, he will not get it. He will be calling you up all the time to ask you to explain something you've explained before. It's very intentional. They do that so that you don't keep running to them. They'll make sure you spend so much energy in explaining to them, to the point that when you reflect and see that you're investing much energy in explaining to them, it's better off you doing it alone. That's their end goal. So they want you to think about it that way. What's the point asking him to do it? Because whenever you do ask him to do it, it takes so much time and you get stressed out. It's easier for you to get it done. Don't fall into the trap. If he's not going to do it, let him face the consequences. You're not there to train a baby. It is not a kindergarten. He's not a toddler. If he's not going to wash his dishes, pile it up for him. Leave it there. If he's not going to pick up after himself, you leave it there. If he's not going to do his laundry, leave it there. You're not there to babysit him. It is a partnership, not a mother and son kind of relationship. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section.
I don't like you. I want to hit it. I don't want a relationship. That's the reality. Women go, but tell me that. Where would that get us?
Exactly where it's supposed to get you. Because a girl who doesn't want that arrangement is allowed and has the freedom to say no thank you. So you can go find the girl who does want the arrangement.
100%.
So
but I don't want the girl to want the arrangement. I want you.
You can't have everything you want.
I can get the encounter if I lie.
Men cannot and will not guilt trip me into thinking that them using me for sex is okay, but me using them for money is not. Like, you're not going to do that. I'm listening to this podcast and this guy was like, I don't mind giving a woman money, but I hate to feel used. So the girl was like, but I know you in real life and you always use women for sex. Like, you use their body to masturbate. You don't really, like, the first time you meet them, you basically are asking to get in between their legs. So I'm like, this is where the disconnect is. They think that they can use you, but you cannot use them. Like, you using them is just off limits. And he says, well, nobody likes to feel used. Nobody likes to be used for their body, but you do it. Like, now, years of you doing this to women are finally now doing it back, and you don't like how it feels. Like, womp womp. As soon as you ask me to open my legs and I don't know you, I'm asking you to pay something. Oh, you're a prostitute, and what are you? You're asking me to have sex with you and I don't know you. What are you? You're no better than me. Like, that shaming women into not wanting to use you back is over. Those days are over, babe. It's over.
Like he said, it's the reality. The truth is bitter. I hope we don't have women in this present day thinking that having a man sleep with them means the man loves them. No. In the past, women did think that way, but that's not true and has never been true. A lot of men out there are just out there looking for access to a woman's VJJ, looking for a woman that will grant them access. They are willing to tell you lies, sell things to you, pay you just to have access. A man sleeping with you does not mean the man likes you or loves you. This explains why we have so many men in relationships with women that they don't like. Access to the body is the main focus. They know that women are getting smarter and it's becoming harder for them to find a woman that will easily give them access to her body if they don't have the money to pay. Because if you cannot find that woman, then you should have the money to pay women that are already in that business. You get what I mean? So some men want it, but they don't want to pay. So the best bet is to decorate the whole boyfriend thing. I want to get into a relationship with you. Let's get into a relationship. Oh, I want to be your boyfriend. Oh, do you want to be my girlfriend? Because to them, being your boyfriend means that you will feel comfortable sleeping with them. They can easily have access to your body. Men are not dating women because they care. This might not apply to everybody. Making a woman their girlfriend gives them continuous access. Have you ever asked yourself what happens in relationships that sex is not involved in? What happens in relationships where the women are not giving men sex? They lose interest, especially in the boyfriend-girlfriend kind of relationship. Most of them end up cheating. They just might say, okay, fine, let's keep the relationship going, but they'll go behind you and cheat. And such relationships don't really work out, don't really last. Shows you it's all about the sex for them, for the men. Let's take some comments. The fact that he doesn't see a problem in being manipulating and deceitful is the bigger issue. A lot of them are that way. Like I said, what do you think is the reason for men getting into relationships with women? I'm talking about the whole casual boyfriend-girlfriend thing. It's his manipulation too. A lot of them have been playing this game, and then he casually and proudly spoke about manipulating others for gratification. Ladies, are you all listening yet? There are no good ones. Stop entertaining them. I can't believe he said it out. He's being truthful. The truth they say is bitter. This is the truth. It's all about the body. Someone said, did he just say, I can't get the encounter if I lie, or did I not hear that correctly? This one replied and said, that's exactly what he said, and he thought he ate. The really telling part is when she says he can find someone who wants what he wants, and he says, I don't want that someone who wants what I want, just a physical encounter. He gets off on the deception in coercing a woman to do something she doesn't want to. Why are we acting like this is new? Like, honestly, why are we acting like this is new? This is very common. It's normal. It's like an adolescent girl, a young girl getting into a relationship with a boy, and the boy is talking her into sleeping with him. What he just said is what is common. This is what a lot of men do. Women get into relationship, young girls get into relationship, not with the mindset of wanting to sleep with the man, but wanting to have human connection, build a bond with the person, and do life things together. But because they're in that relationship with that man, they end up sleeping with the man, not because that was their initial plan. Those men usually manipulate and coerce young girls into sleeping with them. When I talk about those men, I mean both men and boys, like people that do relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend kind of relationship. This is normally how it works. If you decide to ask a lot of women that ended up losing their virginity, sleeping with boys, that wasn't their initial plan. They were coerced into it, manipulated. The manipulation was either obvious or a subtle one. There's some men, the moment you turn them down, they start guilt-tripping you, make you feel bad, and cook up stories, pity stories that will make you give in. So imagine a young girl, a young adult, a girl that has no idea of how these men are, being in such a situation. She's going to give in without him even forcefully making her give in. So like I said, this is a pattern. This is something that has been there, and it doesn't make it right.
Something that's deeply concerning is that like all of the older women, when I say older, like 50 plus, are strongly passionate about younger women, 20s, 30s, not getting married. It's like you can see your future and they're telling you exactly what are we going to do about this?
Best advice I can give to any woman that is building out her own $1 million career and brand is to stop dating men. Just stop. Just go cold turkey. No dating and no intimacy. When I took this vow for myself for 2 years, I was like, I'm not going to date anybody. I'm going to get super laser focused and locked in, because men can be extremely draining. They are known to be energy vampires. And if they're not making your life better, they're actually just wasting your life. So I was like, okay, I'm going to stop dating. And in those 2 years, I was so laser focused on my business that I built a multi-million-dollar company. It's about to hit $5 million very soon, which is insane. I got the house of my dreams, the car of my dreams, the life I've always wanted. And I did it so quickly because I didn't have my energy leaking into other things, into problems, into an emotional roller coaster that in my 20s, men would always put me on, because I was such a lover girl. I would invest all my focus and time into the relationship I was in. So now that I've built my stability and my self-confidence, now I'm dating, and now it's so much easier because I don't go around anybody who would dare waste my time, right? Only around somebody who allows me to be myself, allows me to focus on my goals, and doesn't deter me from it and doesn't put me on an emotional roller coaster. And when I was in my 20s, I didn't know how important that was, right? Because in our 20s, we're like boy crazy. We're told that our main goal is to have kids and get married. And I was like, fuck that. I want to be a millionaire instead.
Last week or thereabout, there was this Vogue article that went viral. It was written by a lady, and the title of the article is Having a Boyfriend Embarrassing? People had a lot to say. A lot of men were angry because they felt like that isn't a good way to represent men. Although some of them did admit that some men are not representing them in a good way, but that does not mean that people should generalize. Some men were just so particular about their self-image. I will just touch a little bit on that topic. I know a lot of people have said a lot on it. A lot of content creators have also created content on it. Let's have a look at this video.
Men are losing social status, and that's how you get to an article like, is having a boyfriend embarrassing now? Disclaimer that this conversation may be above your intellectual bracket. If you don't understand how to engage in cultural conversations, this is not a safe space for you. We know that men are increasingly becoming losers. You can clearly see that with the incels, the red pill content, or even in areas like education where men are not doing well in school, especially compared to their female peers. Men are also deliberately engaging in antisocial behaviors. You're not going to have a good social standing when you are engaging in antisocial behaviors, on top of the fact that a lot of men just do not like women. I, in a different video, encourage men to have a few platonic relationships with women, and they were, why would I do that? That's just the stupidest thing I've ever heard. The fact that a lot of men think that it is stupid or pointless to just be friends with women says a lot about how they view women. They don't view them as people. They don't view them as equals. They only view them as this thing you go to for sex and other transactional reasons, but they don't see you on the same level as them. They wouldn't even be your friend. They're living in the world of their fathers and grandfathers without having any of the things that their fathers and grandfathers had, including the society that their fathers and grandfathers had. Their fathers and grandfathers went to work and made enough money to provide for a whole family. They could fix everything around the house. They could go out and they could work on a car. All these things that they are not. They're broke, don't know how to do anything, can't talk to anybody, very uneducated. And so why would a woman want to engage with you when she doesn't have to? She's single and she's having a very fulfilling life as a single woman. For a woman who is doing well in her life and has a great community of friends and is really working on her personal development and all these things, to look at a man who is a loser and to partner with a man who is a loser is embarrassing. Now, a lot of them still do it, which the article did not address. And this is when we're going to go to women, because women are not innocent in this equation either. A lot of women lack discernment. So I can spot a loser 30 miles away. But somehow you could not tell that this man was a loser when he walked up to you or when he first messaged you. You went on this date and within a couple of questions, you couldn't tell he was a loser and you kept, or even if you did, you still kept sitting there. You, as a woman, you have a certain type of man that you like, that you engage with. And even if that man does not have traits that are actually beneficial to you, you still put up with it until it boils over and it's a disaster. And because you do this over and over and over again, your experiences with men are repeatedly horrible. Not always the case, but there's enough women who put up with the losers that the losers are still encouraged to continue to be losers. But the other problem with women continuing to push this narrative is that at first, there was a little bit more nuance behind it. Women were bringing up very specific issues that they were having with men. They were talking about very real, tangible issues like men being violent. And that is where we started getting into these conversations about men maybe being dangerous, not wanting to center men, all these things. But now all of that context is being taken away. Even in this Vogue article, it was a very short read. It didn't go through too much. It was very short and straight. Having a boyfriend's embarrassing. It's better to be single. Men are trash. Keep in mind, women still want to be partnered. They would love to be partnered if they found a man that they liked. But when you are pushing the idea that you don't want men to talk to you, you don't want men to approach you, what man, even if he is a decent man, is going to want to approach you? I wrote a longer form version of this on Substack and Patreon, but the key takeaway here is that this narrative of men are embarrassing, men suck, I don't want them to talk to me, is going to create a reality that nobody's gonna like. I hate the losers too, but do you see how I specifically point out the losers and their behaviors and their beliefs? This is just one of those areas where you need to be specific about who and what you are talking about, because this blanketing of 50% of the population is not going to go the way that you think it is.
I get his point. He was clearly fighting for his own self-image. Yeah, the blanketing, the generalization, I get his point. But don't you think the reason why a lot of women are speaking the same language regarding men's behavior is because that is their reality? Him talking about this going to become the reality like it's not already the reality. A lot of women are choosing not to have anything to do with men. Yeah, in as much as we still have more women still wanting to connect with men, over time, the number of women not wanting to connect with men are increasing. Him speaking of his forefathers in their days, working hard, paying bills and all that. Yeah, they did that. But that should not take away the fact that their fathers were not good to their mothers. The only difference is that they were so focused on providing, and the society did not create room, did not give women the opportunity to be themselves, the opportunity to be independent. So women had no other choice than to stay put in that terrible situation. So men should stop making reference to their fathers like their fathers were better off. Nope, they were not better off. The only difference here, the clear difference here, is that the men of this current generation are lazy. They expect the women to serve them and also provide for them, which has made their situation worse. And the society is not in their favor as the society was in the past. A woman is working, which most of them are not happy about. They wish they could take that away from her. And then you expect her to go to work and come feed you, then do the domestic chore for you. You must be high on something. And this is what a lot of men out there are expecting. They don't like the fact that women are being successful. A lot of them are filled with hate and bitterness. Let's have a look at the author of the article. She explained what led to her research and her writing the article. She spoke about her observation. Women posting videos, pictures of the men they have in their lives and blurring out their faces, hiding their faces so people wouldn't see. And when such women were asked for doing things like that, they gave different reasons. Let's hear what she has to say.
For British Vogue, I wrote, "This piece is having a boyfriend embarrassing now." I know people have read the headline, they're like, nah. But listen, for this piece, I interviewed a bunch of women. I spoke to them about why they hide their partners on social media, or they like post very inconspicuously about them. You know, some people said it was about privacy and this sort of unique, special privacy that you only afford your romantic partner. A lot of people spoke about the evil eye and this idea that, oh, if I post my partner, then people who are jealous of me will somehow, through their terrible vibes, ruin my relationship. Some people said that they felt as if they were scared to post because what happens when someone comes to them as a woman, or what happens when they break up and they have to, you know, delete all the posts, and there's this whole feeling of like shame of having tried and failed to find love. And then there was a really interesting point that came across both people in relationships and single people, and this idea that like being in a relationship with a man and showcasing it to the world in and of itself was an embarrassing thing to do. And that's what I really wanted to get into. There was this idea of there not being a solidarity with other women. There was this idea of like a relationship just by default being something that rendered you quite uncool. I spoke about this podcast I came across where they were talking about, is it lame to have a boyfriend? And they say, you know, when I meet a girl and she has a boyfriend, I automatically just kind of put her in a box or in a category, and I just don't feel as inspired or engaged by her. And then when someone doesn't, I feel like they have so much life and prospect and they are just entertaining and fun, and I kind of feel empowered by their individualism. But interestingly, the girls talking about this on the podcast, agreeing with this idea that like girls without boyfriends are cool, are also in relationships themselves. And so I was thinking so much about how it is very uncool to be a boyfriend girl. It is very uncool to be a my man person. And I spoke to both just people who are on social, but also content creators and influencers about what happens when they post their partners, right? A lot of them lose a lot of followers, especially if they were already single. And this idea that now you are someone's girlfriend and you're posting about this, it's something that people automatically disengage from. I do it too. If I follow someone because they, I don't know, post their outfits and all of a sudden it's their boyfriend every day, I'm just like mute. I came here for a reason. But this is happening like across the board, and like just culturally, I think a lot of like the days of a man being a prize has really changed. it's really, really, really changed. And obviously this has come from like just the empowerment of single women in general, but also just how the trajectory of men and women are going in completely opposite directions. And now we're having to look at heterosexuality with the political lens that we've looked at other sexualities. And we really have to evaluate, if we are a part of this thing, what does it mean? And so it's a really interesting piece. I think people should go and read it and should go and check it out. And I've also found the backlash to it. You know, I think a lot of women in relationships will say, well, you know, I hate all men apart from my man. He is a feminist and he is a this and he is a that, and I shouldn't feel embarrassed and blah, blah, blah. But the thing is, I think we have to be honest with ourselves. If people want to scream like, men are trash, I hate all men, men are trash, I hate all men, and then you shack up with a man and you're like, but not my man though, and someone says that's embarrassing, this is the culture that we've created and we've fostered, right? And so I think a lot of people want to have their pie and eat it too. When there's nothing wrong with that, but I just think as we become a lot more critical of heterosexuality, I just think you can't sit comfortably in that anymore, which I personally think is a good thing, because it means that we are like deepening heterosexuality. We're thinking so much more critically about what it is we're engaging in, and we're being conscious about our choices, which I think is important. But yeah, go and read the piece. Sorry to drone on and on and on and on and on and on and on. Shout out to everyone that made it to the end of this video.
There is this saying that goes, men will stain your white. As long as you're dealing with a man in a romantic setting, there is this huge uncertainty. You really cannot tell what that man will do tomorrow. He can go out there and sleep with your friend. He can go out there and lie on you to someone that you don't even know. He can say a lot of things. He can do a lot of things that will bring embarrassment to yourself. That's basically what that statement means. Having a boyfriend is embarrassing. Although it's a question, but it is the reality. It is the reality. Because a lot of men don't truly care about women. They truly don't love women. So if you're dealing with someone that truly don't care about you, it means that person is definitely going to embarrass you. If the person is maltreating you, that is embarrassment. If the person is beating you, that is embarrassment. If the person is cheating, lying, is embarrassment. I think they need to take off now from that question, from that title. It didn't just start. It has always been embarrassing. It's just that women started realizing it. They started connecting the dots, noticing the patterns, because women started watching. It's not like we've not been watching before, but we have more time to do research, study, observe, because a lot of women have broken away from that label that keeps you tied down, that you have no time to think about any other thing but house chores, building a home, being a homemaker. So women are waking up and we're speaking up. I don't think, from the way things are, I don't think women are even interested in equality, because that's something that you might never get. So I think women have come to the realization that equality might never happen. The best bet is do you, be you, live your life for yourself, rather than finding yourself in a position where you have to ask for equality because you're in a relationship with a man. Why don't you just deal with the problem from the root cause by not even getting into a relationship with a man in the first place? Let me know what you think about this in the comment section, and I will see you all in the next one. Thanks for your support.